Aloha. Welcome to the first episode of the Travellers Ukulele Gig Guide podcast, a place of community connection where my guests are invited to share their uketastic experiences through story and, if we're very lucky, song. Podcasting is a contemporary art form. I'm using its relaxed conversational style to bring us together as if we were sharing a cuppa or a cocktail and a chat as we watch the sun go down. My formula is simple. I talk to people about travel and ukulele. On the one hand, each yarn is unique, but on the other hand, each individual story weaves itself into a bigger picture of human camaraderie and the mateship found amongst ukulele players across the world. Before I share what's coming up in our first season of Travellers Ukulele Gig Guide, I'd better introduce myself. Okay, so I'm going to give myself a couple of minutes to do this, and here I go. I'm Shirley Ann, an ordinary housewife living in Cairns, Australia, with an extraordinary curiosity about people. For 40 years I was a nurse. I learnt my trade in a hospital-based training program in Wellington, New Zealand. I'm Polynesian. My father was Māori, my mother was part Māori, and her father was a Cook Island man, brought to New Zealand by trading ship to work on land clearing for the government of the day. Papa Manua was converted to Christianity on the ship, and when he arrived in Auckland, he was resettled to Helensville, where many displaced Māori and Islander families lived in dwellings made from sugar sacks. My grandfather became known as the Barefoot Pastor because he roamed the hills, visiting people, listening to their stories and sharing encouragement, spare food and comfort with everyone he met. I think I'm like him. My parents met in Auckland around 1958. Dad was driving trolley buses and Mum was nursing. My parents were part of a generation who moved away from their rural tribal roots to integrate into an urban lifestyle. It wasn't easy for Māori in those days, but their community held together with commitment, love, faith, work, food, gatherings, story, and music. Lots and lots of music. I was born in Wellington in 1963, and Mum believed in good education, so she enrolled me in a private Anglican girls' school at 4 years of age. I graduated at 16. Within those walls, I found solace in the arts. Luckily, because I had no interest or brain for science or math. There I learnt to play instruments, sing, create, act, write and perform. Okay, I'm going to fast track a little bit to connect with my ukulele story. So that's about 2010. So my journey with ukulele started as an accident. A friend asked me to teach her guitar as a positive mental health activity, and I said, no, it's too hard. Maybe try ukulele. It's just 4 strings and you go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Great, my friend said. You teach me ukulele. I roll. I had no interest in the ukulele whatsoever, but I had a lot of respect and supported my friend. So for her, I went home, I watched YouTube, I taught myself ukulele and started teaching her the next week. She gave it up after about a month, but I was already hooked, so I kept going. So I kept going and playing. It was about 2010, but next minute it was already 2017. That was a super big bad year for me because of illness and cancer. And the treatment in some instances is so much worse than the illness. I had, 9 huge operations, chemotherapy. I went through homelessness, unemployment and loss, lots and lots of loss. But rather than dwelling on what I'd lost, I really had to dig into myself and into my strengths that I had to stay positive and to keep on top of my situation. And it turned out that playing ukulele was the perfect way for me to redirect my focus from my own situation to helping others. I started fundraising for cancer research by teaching ukulele to beginners, performing at events with ensemble groups. I put together and I hosted a biggest morning tea event or two. Anyway, one night at Uke Club, I asked for volunteers to help with a Daffodil Day fundraiser, and a guy in the crowd put up his hand and he said, "Oi, my wife will do it." And I thought to myself, well, that's just a bit cheeky, isn't it? But Travellers, that is exactly how I met Alison, my ukulele bandmate and jazzulele partner. Our ukulele duo, the Jazzuleles, is all about friendship. It's about fun, and it's about the adventure of playing music together and with other like-minded people. Now, does that sound familiar, Travellers? In fact, it's exactly what the Travellers Ukulele Gig Guide Facebook group and podcast is all about. It's about finding new friends to uke with as we journey along the road of life. I'm going to leave my story there for now, but if you would like to hear more about the Jazzuleles and about Alison, who's a fantastic storyteller, please tune into our yarn on the 20th of December, where you can find out more. Okay, Travellers, as promised, here is a quick podcast overview of what you can expect to hear in Season 1, The South Pacific. I've gathered 21 fab yarns from uke stars in Australia, New Zealand, Norfolk Island, Tahiti and Micronesia. I asked travellers for tips, highlights, recommended camping spots, favourite songs to play and where they found the friendliest players along the way. We hear yarns from uke-toting travellers in a manta ray, a Corolla, in an old Viscount caravan, mobile homes, planes, trains and cruise ships. We also get to know what it takes to become a ukulele virtuoso from Vic Kenner in Brisbane, how ukulele helped raise funds and community spirits in Lismore after the floods of 2022 from Terry and Madeline. Kath McCourt reveals what tropical island has an extensive gluten-free menu, how a plonked plinker made the front page in Nelson, New Zealand, and the difference between a Northern Territory and Victorian muff. All this and much, much more. The Travellers Ukulele Gig Guide is a 30-minute yarn. A new episode drops every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. because it's a great hump day pick-me-up kind of a podcast. Find us on Spotify for podcasters and all streaming platforms. Subscribe, like or follow so you don't miss an episode. This podcast is for people who like ukulele, travel and connecting with others along the way. It's for amateurs, professionals, wannabes and gonnabes. So if you have a uketastic yarn to share or you know someone who does, contact Shirley Ann so we can record your story and weave it into our collective work of art. Thanks for listening, travellers. Safe travels and aloha.